How's it going, guys? It's Friday, September 5th, and I got you this week's freshwater video. And those of you keen to timing may notice this video's a little early this week. That's because we got something in so cool, something that I've personally always wanted to see in person but never have had the chance to, that I rushed over here and got these videos quick. So they're a day early, but there's a reason, and you got to stick around to the end of the scene. But this week is full of some really interesting stuff, so check it all out. I'm coming right out the gate swinging with this one, with an amazingly cool species of fish to start us out with this week. We have these absolutely awesome Cuban llamas. And you may be asking yourself, some of you aren't giant fish nerds like me, what's a llama? Well, a lot of you may know mollies, platies, and guppies as your live bearer fish. But llamas also belong to that group. They're mostly endemic to the southern part of North America, the northern part of Central America, and throughout the Caribbean. So they're kind of our version of the live bearer as opposed to the mollies and the platies, although molly is also found in America. Otherwise, they are super cool, super unique, not a fish you see often at all. I absolutely love them. All the llamas, there's tons of them, but I'm especially a big sucker for island fauna, so Cuban llamas, really near and dear to my heart. Generally awesome fish. And on top of that, in the same tank, we also have the Roberts Synodontis, which is a very rare Synodontis species that I almost never see, which is an absolute shame because if you just look at that pattern, they are an absolutely gorgeous fish. What an absolutely beautiful Synodontis catfish. Just heavy marbling, beautiful piebalding. Incredible fish. Absolutely love it. And it just keeps getting crazier from there. We have started out amazing and we're keeping going. These here are no ordinary Cory cats. I mean, you can probably already tell by the elongated body and the odd pattern, but these are coast Corys. These are an incredibly cool spory species that is also an incredibly rare fish. Super unique, absolutely amazing, but it just keeps getting better. Just wait till the end, man. Crazy as some of the other things we've already shown off. I couldn't help but not show off a bunch of these beautiful electric blue Aras because in general, they're just an amazing fish. They're a large, robust cichlid with an absolutely astonishing color. Really, really cool all around, and I love when we get these guys in. As well as, I'm a sucker for some of the cooler, more uncommon Geophagus species. So the little Geophagus abios, not the perfect pronunciation, but look them up. They're very cool Geophagus species. They get beautiful as they mature. Another super cool Synodontis we have in this week. You can kind of see tucked up in here and here. Synodontis love to do that. These guys are the Synodontis shodeni, or the yellow marbled Synodontis. Sometimes you'll also see Synodontis called squeaker catfish. That's because they do have the ability to make a little squeaky chirping sound when you take them out of the water, like the croaking catfish of South America. All around, another beautiful, well-marbled fish. Love the coloration. This is more of a bright gold on the black as opposed to the more, got one kind of more out in the open here. You can see now what I'm talking about when I say it's much more gold on black than it is the white on black, which I think in itself is a beautiful coloration combo. Really cool, guys. Also, I just love the branching barbels that all the Synodontis have on the lower barbels. So cool. Speaking of some more really cool catfish in this week, a lot of really cool catfish this week, but that's not even the super cool thing that we got in. We have these awesome Bumblebee jelly cats. These guys are just a nice, robust, really awesome catfish to keep. They have a lot of really unique behaviors. They're generally a really pretty fish overall. Again, I'm just a sucker for, black and white and black and yellow patterning. These guys just have some really cool patterning. Also, I'm just a sucker for catfish with wide heads. I just like the big-headed boys. So cool. But yeah, a bunch of these guys in. Definitely not a common species I see very often, but cool to see nonetheless. A couple more really cool fish we got in this week. I think by now, we all know I'm always going to talk about gold nugget plecos. Anytime gold nugget plecos appear, they're just in my opinion, one of the cream of the crop of plecos. I absolutely love them. Super cool, and they just retain that beautiful color throughout their lives. But, funny enough, not exactly the original fish I intended to talk about here. You can see kind of goofing around under the log there, a handful of black ghost knifefish. Another super, super cool fish. Absolutely love these guys. Of all the knifefish, I think they're probably the most communicable and easy to keep with other fish. But they still have all those really cool, unique knifefish behaviors, and also they're just really pretty. A lot of knifefish can be kind of dull, but the black ghost knife is a very pretty fish. All around, an awesome species. Well, the hits just keep on coming, and this tank's got a whole bunch of them. So, continuing on, we have the beautiful half-banded spiny eels. One of what I would say is one of the prettier of all the spiny eels. I know a lot of people love their fire eels, but can't go wrong with those beautiful intricate patterns that those nice spiny eels have. Absolutely love these half-bandeds. Really cool. Not the only cool oddball here. We also have these really cool Celebes half-beaks. Half-beaks are an interesting fish that are also related to live bearers, but they are definitely much larger and a little more uniquely body shaped than many of the other ones. Celebes are cool. They have a nice yellow body to them, blue eyes, orange fins. They're just very unique fish. And a lot of times you will find them hanging out a little bit more towards the surface, but unlike a lot of other half-beaks, the Celebes isn't really picky. They'll eat just about anything, and they will happily swim in most levels of the water. So they're just a really cool, if you like a uniquely shaped, almost like pike or gar-like fish that doesn't have the absolute terror that comes with keeping pikes and gars. So those are really, really awesome. Absolutely love them. We also have a number of these absolutely awesome double red apistos. I believe it's Pisto Agassiz. I will never get that right. I don't think I will ever get that right. But still one of my favorite apisto species, despite the fact I can never get its name right. And the double red is a really cool color for them. We do have males and females of these guys right now. And of course, you may have seen around a bunch of ram cichlids. I love ram cichlids. I also think, just like apistos, they make awesome, cool little centerpiece fishes for small planted nano tanks. And continuing on with yet another really cool catfish. I did say earlier, they were going to be a theme of the week. These guys are the really cool Sumatran two-spot cats. This is more of what a lot of, I imagine, people think of when I say the word catfish. It's very much this body plan. It's very reminiscent of the American bullhead catfish and the flathead catfish that a lot of us think about when we think of the word catfish. And like a lot of those guys, they're prolific bottom feeders. They absolutely love keeping the bottom of the tanks clear and clean of excess food and waste. Great to have around, but also these guys are much more active than a lot of other catfish species. So if you want the same benefits as other catfish species, but something much more showy and active, two-spot cats are a great way to go. Just a really, really cool fish all around. Next up on our list this week is an absolutely crazy fish. Because I'm going to be real with you, I didn't even know these existed, but I'm absolutely in love. They are super cool. This is the Phoenix glassfish. I've known of glassfish, and I've seen several glassfish species before, but I've never seen these ones, and I've never seen a glassfish species that was so well adorned. They're an absolutely beautiful fish. These guys are really, really cool, and it's just, I don't know, it's always a fun day for me when I get stumped. That's always a fun day. But I gotta tell you, it's still not the crazy fish I'm talking about. There's still more to come. But sticking in the same system for now, we have bunches of cherry shrimp in right now. Some nice, big, beautiful dark red cherries, as well as a bunch of adorable little Phoenix rasboras? Yes, chilies. Sorry, phoenixes and chilies are very difficult to tell apart at this size. A bunch of little chili rasboras. Briquettes, I believe. Absolutely love these guys. They're one of the most perfect nano fish out there. Along with the celestial pearl danios, I think these guys make some of the best nano fish. We also still have a few of those cool whiptail cats, a bunch of those beautiful blue-eyed bristle noses, some more celestial pearl danios, amano shrimp, crystal red shrimp, cherry shrimp, all sorts of cool stuff. And of course, one more look at those really, really odd Phoenix glassfish before we continue on. Coming back down to something that I guess we could consider a bit more normal. Any other week, this would be a really cool oddity, but man, after all the crazy stuff this week, it almost feels normal. But we have a really cool electric blue crayfish. I love these guys. There's just no going wrong with them. They're just beautiful, odd, unique, fun. I actually think they're one of the few invertebrates that make a really, really good solo tank animal. Like, just build a really cool tank just for them, and they'll reward you with a lot of interesting behaviors. Really cool all around. Absolutely love them. Of course, I couldn't not talk about Congo tetras. One of the coolest tetras out there. I absolutely love Congos. From their strikingly beautiful size to their absolutely astonishing iridescence under the right lights. They're a cool, awesome tetra all around. One of the absolute most amazing fish to see when they get up into big schools. It's just all sorts of fun, especially the males will display at each other, which is a really cool trait not a lot of tetras do. Cool all around. Absolutely love Congos. Happy to see we got more in. And of course, I can't shunt the little guys. We did also get a bunch of beautiful little gold tetras in. Really cool. Absolutely love them. Depending on who you are, this may either be fortunate or unfortunate news. But now it is time for me to nerd out a little. As if I haven't already been this whole video. But what you're looking at before you is not a gourami, nor any other small weird fish. This is a betta. And it may not look like any betta you've ever seen before, which is fascinating to think about. Because there are, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is currently 73 species of betta. And yet, those species that most people are generally familiar with isn't even a real species. It's a hybrid, so we generally call it the domestic betta. So apart from the betta that almost everybody has seen in person, there are still 73 other species out there, which I think is incredible, and I have always had a personal huge soft spot for wild bettas, which is why it is really, really cool for me to get to see these red skirt bettas, or betta phallax, in person. Because this is actually crazy enough. I've worked with some really interesting species of betta. This is a species I've never seen in person before. And it is actually really incredible that we managed to get some of these guys in. I absolutely love them. And one thing you may notice that is very surprising about this is that there is multiple bettas together. And that is because unlike a lot of your, domestic bettas, these guys are actually relatively peaceful. Very easygoing. And they're great for planted setups. They generally don't bother any other fish and can even sometimes be kept in groups. Although I do find keeping them in pairs is generally the best move. They do a lot of really cool displaying and nest building when you do that. But yeah, all around, it's super cool to see wild bettas. And these are juveniles. Their color will grow exponentially as they mature. They get really, really cool colors to them. They're just an absolutely weird and odd, unique little fish. And I'm just hopeful that maybe going forward we can get more and more of these wild bettas in, and I get to talk about them more and more, because my god, do I love wild bettas. I've got a couple really, really cool species that are high on my list that I really hope to get to show you guys someday. But yeah, betta phallax, or the red skirt betta, trust me, you'll see as they mature where they get that name, because they are really, really cool fish, and I'm absolutely excited to show off some wild bettas. But what if I told you that still wasn't the fish I talked about? That still wasn't the incredibly rare and amazing animal that made me rush over here. Well, I'll stop beating around the bush. It's time to show you guys. Well, here it is. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is an eel. And this is the freshwater video. You're not incorrect. What you are looking at is Gyna thorax polynerdon. And it is one of the few fish that I just have that scientific name on hand, ready to go, because I am obsessed with them. They are incredible. I'm so excited to see these in person finally. And what makes them just so cool compared to a lot of other fish and even other eels? Well, I know a lot of you may have seen quote unquote freshwater snowflake eels and other eel types being sold in a lot of pet stores. In truth, none of those are freshwater. They're all brackish and they won't survive in freshwater long term. Well, this is the exception to the rule. This is a pure freshwater eel. 100% freshwater. Never needs to be converted to brackish or marine. Not only that, but they are beautiful, amazing, gorgeous eels. There's a reason they call them the freshwater tiger moray. And to top it off, you may have noticed, those of you who are a bit more keen about fish, that I called this a Gyna thorax. It is true. This is a true moray eel. So it is directly related to things like the green moray and the tessellata eel and the banana eel and the fire coral eel and all those other cool true eels. This is a true eel. It is just an incredible, incredible animal. I am so excited to see these two. And it's kind of cool that I can tell them apart. They do each have a bit more of a unique pattern to them. And they are an active fish. I've seen videos of these guys in people's tanks before. They are active. They're fun. They're always moving and grooving, doing stuff. And they're also not as belligerent as many other eel species. Because I know a lot of you think of things like tessellatas and know that it's hard to keep other things with them. They can be quite predatory. These guys, definitely not as bad. They're much more communicable, and as long as you're not keeping super tiny little fish with them, a lot of times they're pretty easygoing, especially if it's something that they generally just can't fit in their mouth. But I just am awestruck. These are an absolutely amazing animal. I have waited years to see. I discovered these probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. It's just so cool. Absolutely amazing, and I really do hope you guys come in, even if it's just to check these out. A true moray eel that is purely freshwater. How awesome is that? You know, at least I didn't lie to you guys and say that this week's video was going to be shorter. I knew it was going to be a long one. The second I saw that list, there were just so many incredible fish on that list. It was even crazier. There's a lot of stuff on that list I never even showed. You got to come in to check this stuff out. But this video would be an hour long if I sat there and showed you all the incredible fish we got in. But it's getting longer by the second, so I'll finally let you guys go. Until next time, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and any of our local customers looking for anything cool or interesting like those absolutely incredible tiger moray eels, feel free to email us at contact@exotiquatic.com. We'd love to see if we can get it in for you. Until next time.